Have you been following Angel Reese?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Not only have I been following Angel Reese, but it's also sparked a series of conversations in my professional community around something that I've been talking about for a very long time, which is that people in my profession who do communications and PR and things like that, particularly around executives, I've been giving people guidance that you have to actually staff and support Black women executives quite differently than you do their white counterparts and their male counterparts, because media takes incredible leaps and incredible just sort of distractions and journeys with the reputation and intentions of Black women in ways that they don't do to white men. We saw it with Bozoma St. John. You can feel ever how you feel about the length of her career. She was the CMO of Uber. She was the CMO at Netflix. And a huge advertising week story that the headline was like, the CMO most likely to leave and go to another job, right? Like they would have never written that headline about a white male CMO. And CMOs typically have a 2-year run, regardless of how much money they get paid. We saw it with like tons of other Black women. I could go down the list, including the vice president of the United States, and how they were been treated in media differently. You had Caitlyn, ESPN did a whole series on her clapbacks. Right? They did a whole segment on her clapback, saying how witty they were, how she was crushing them, and how she was such, this force on the court, and the sportsmanship that she gets into their brains as well as to their game on the court. And then you take Angel, who basically gives her just the same shit that she was giving her in a basketball game where everybody talks shit, everybody talks smack. And then you got all of these people that come at her and saying, oh, she's not classy, or she's ghetto, or she's unsportsmanlike, or she's a sore loser. That.
Right? Well, so part of it is our fault. Oop. I'm going to say this, 866-801-8255, because many of us have spent all of our time, especially when we get into these C-suites and these spaces, folding and contorting ourselves into these versions that we think make white folk, into Van Jones versions of ourselves. That's going to be my proxy now. Yeah. We have Van Jonesed ourselves to the point where when we show up like our full selves, excellent and doing all of the work, but with all of this as well.
Yeah. And
with that, coupled with Birth of a Nation and all of the tropes that follow us, the Sapphire myth and the Mammy myth and all of that, that, we don't even see it sometimes, that this young lady's 20 years old and she knows who she is. She's named for her mama. Name is Angel, and she's going to let you know. And there's several videos now, and I'm going to say something about her in a second in terms of her genius, because she's genius. Because there's something I've been saying from the beginning, that the women that come through these systems, they've been beaten into submission to behave a certain kind of way. I hate the fact that there were so many men coaching women, because there are no women coaching men at any sport, any level, at the head coach, where you in people's faces and yelling and screaming. Very few Black women. So now we're seeing Vivian Stringer is one of the first, see Vivian Stringer. Now we got Dawn Jolette Laws on the bench, who coached with Vivian Stringer and coached herself, and I'm looking at all of these Black women now coaching primarily Black women, and it's a different dynamic. And I think it's right. The fact that we think it's okay for white men to coach Black women, and this subservient, like, if you just sit with that for a minute, and it's yes, Gino Auriemma is a great coach. Yeah. But the dynamics, to me, yes, these women go on to do great, but they're doing great in a system that demands of them to follow a particular lead. You know what I'm saying? You have to,
absolutely.
Comport yourself a certain kind of way and talk a certain kind of way, and have, and there's no, when you listen to Doris Burke, all of the announcers sound the exact same. It's to me, it's hilarious. But that said, Angel Reese, Taurus. I just want to say that. So is Kim Mulkey, by the way. I'm like, yikes, this is crazy. But she now has more than $1 million, almost $2 million in NIL money coming in. Yeah, she is racking in the dollars with the endorsements, and she's a junior. So she's going into her senior year as a millionaire. And I love it. I love it because this has made her, if this didn't happen, it's the most watched women's basketball game in history, this game. Before that, the most watched game was South Carolina versus Iowa. Okay. Right. So the conflict, because we feed on it, and it's fake conflict, because sports conflict is not like real conflict,
Right.
It's almost,
there's no policy decision that's going to change your life based on the outcome of this game. It's not going to change your life. It may not even change the lives of the people actually playing it. A couple of them it will, but it may not change the lives of the people actually playing. Come on, y'all. But I'm gonna tell you what.
Yes, come on.
What I love about what you said too, Karen, is the fact that there's a different level of investment. I truly believe when you are coaching someone who you understand them intrinsically, right? You understand what their motivation is. You may understand what their origin story is in a completely different way. So I feel like that so many of these white male coaches have coached these women to just get a job done on that court and have no investment in the human being that gets off of that court and takes those sneakers off. And you can't make me believe that these Black women coaches are not thinking about who these women and these young women are going to be as human beings. And I think about it not just in a coaching scenario, but I also think about the people who have had the benefit of having invested managers in the workplace. I think about what I know I invest in every single person who works for me, particularly the people who've reported to me who look like me, and I intrinsically understand their origins, right? Even though we may not have grown up in the same way, I know them, right? And I think about that, what that means for those athletes that actually get that. Those athletes are going to have a completely different way of thinking about their lives outside of that court and outside of that ball.
Listen, I'm even thinking Kim Mulkey right now, if you listen to her interviews, it's all about her. The way that she did not support Brittany Griner, a woman that helped her win a championship at Baylor. The way that she has been very outspoken. And listen, faith is everything, but love is everything. I get the faith. I do. I get the faith part. Too. But at the same time, you are coaching women that have different lifestyles. So are you treating them differently? Like, and when I watch her, so it's not just about the white males, it's about people like Kim Mulkey who's successful. But I'm gonna say there are a lot of successful plantations that picked a lot of cotton too. Doesn't mean that the best interest of the people that were picking the cotton, and I'm not likening these girls, these young ladies, and they're girls to me because the age difference, that they're slaves or enslaved. But I am saying that there is a level of overseer. The relationship is different than Dawn Staley has with her players. There's a kinship. There's an investment in these women, these young women, to become all that they can be. And you see it in the way in which she interacts with them. It's all about the players on the bench. When Dawn Staley won last time, she talked about the players on the bench. Kim Mulkey's talking about her outfit and winning her third ring or whatever this is. I am disgusted by her. And at the same time, I love what Angel Reese is going to become.
Oh yeah,
to be true. So
I love the fact that she's going through these fires right now so that she can help a whole lot of other girls go through them, right? Like they're gonna say, "Oh, so you don't have to cower." Right. Oh, so when they come at you on Twitter and they say, well, we're not going to let our daughters wear LSU jerseys. You're not going to let your daughters wear LSU jerseys, but you're going to let them wear MAGA hats. Like all the people who have all of these things to say about all of these identity politics, half of what they're saying is steeped in racism. The other half is steeped in misogyny. And so what I love about her is she stood 10 toes deep on it and said, look, and the first lady can get some too, right? Like I love Jill Biden.